You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 16th of September. PM Modi inaugurates Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet, targets 500 gigawatts by 2030. Sri Lanka's presidential election key to crisis rebound. And Nepalis worship pre-pubescent girls for good luck and wellness. And now for all the details. While addressing the inaugural day of the 4th Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet in Gandhinagar, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday said that the country is determined to build a sustainable energy path forward and that the focus is on solar power, wind power, nuclear and hydropower to secure the future. Modi said not only Indians but the world believes that India is the best bet of the 21st century. The Prime Minister highlighted the efforts towards achieving the target of 500 gigawatts by 2030. He said that the Reinvest is not an isolated event, but part of a larger vision and action plan to make India a developed nation by 2047. PM Modi emphasized the central government's welfare initiatives in the first 100 days of the third term and said he had made very significant decisions to support green energy. The central theme of Reinvest 2024 is Mission 500 Gigawatts, which underscores India's strategic goal to expand its renewable energy capacity significantly by 2030. As the fourth largest country globally in installed renewable energy capacity, India aims to further consolidate its leadership in the global energy transition.
Let us immerse ourselves in this.
भारत आने वाले समय में 31,000 मेगावाट हाइड्रो पावर जनरेट करने के लिए भी काम कर रहा है। इसके लिए 12,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक अप्रूव किए गए हैं। साथियों, भारत की डायवर्सिटी, भारत की स्केल, भारत की कैपेसिटी, भारत का पोटेंशियल, भारत की परफॉर्मेंस, ये सब यूनिक है। इसलिए मैं कहता हूं, इंडियन सॉल्यूशंस फॉर ग्लोबल एप्लीकेशन.
And the controversial constitution amendments made by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have been postponed indefinitely, Geo News has reported, quoting ruling alliance leader Senator Irfan Siddiqui. The development comes after the government failed to garner support for the proposed tweaks to the constitution. The country witnessed marathon meetings with both Treasury and opposition rushing to JUI chief Fazlur Rahman, whose party has 8 lawmakers, the key number required by the government to have two-thirds majority for making the constitutional amendments. According to media reports, the proposed amendments, including changes in articles governing the appointment and tenures of justices. The government proposed it will become the final authority for the appointment of Chief Justice of Pakistan, a major shift from the current policy where a judicial commission makes the appointments. The controversial amendments also included creation of a separate constitutional court handling cases related to constitutional matters, raising questions on its nature and relationship with the Supreme Court. The main opposition PTI labelled the amendments as an ambush on the judiciary and said they should only be introduced in the best interest of the country rather than for personal gain. Moving on, protests have erupted in Gilgit-Baltistan over a severe crisis and recent cuts to essential subsidies, leaving many families struggling to afford basic food items. A report.
Scores of locals along with members of the Awami Action Committee in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan recently took to the streets to protest ongoing flour crisis and subsidy cuts. Protesters warned that if their demands are not met, they will escalate to larger demonstrations to restore subsidies on 32 essential items. For many families, subsidized flour is critical to keeping food costs manageable, and its subsidy reduction further strains their already limited budgets. The Chief Secretary and other officials have yet to comment on the matter.
जब तक हमारी पुरानी नोटिफिकेशन जो हुई थी फरवरी के महीने में, जो जनवरी में हमने धरना दिया था अवामी एक्शन कमेटी ने, उस पे हम जब तक ये अवॉइड नहीं करेंगे, हम उसको नहीं मानते। अभी तक एहतजाज तब तक हमारा जारी रहेगा जब तक नोटिफिकेशन हमारा 12 किलो का जब तक नहीं जारी करेंगे दोबारा, और हमसे माफी नहीं मांगेंगे अवाम से। ये चीफ सेक्रेटरी बैठा हुआ है, नया चीफ सेक्रेटरी आया है, इसको बावर करा दें कि भाई इधर हम उसके दफ्तर के आसपास का एरिया है ये।
Another protester emphasized the wider crisis in POGB, citing government negligence in addressing critical issues such as electricity, clean drinking water, and other essential services.
न इनके पास इलाज है, न इनके पास तालीम है, न इनके पास जनाब अली कोई साफ सुथरा जो पानी है, न इनके पास बिजली है, न इनके पास कोई मयारी तालीम है, यानी कुछ भी नहीं, सारा जो है बहरान है। तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ये छोटे छोटे, आज हुकूमत ये ना समझे कि ये छोटे छोटे एहतजाजात है जगह जगह पर, कल ये सारे मिलेंगे और एक्शन कमेटी के कॉल पर हम फिर वही धरना हम लगाएंगे, और उस वक्त हमारा एक आटे का मुतालबा नहीं होगा।
And with the presidential election just days away, Sri Lanka's economic landscape continues to struggle with the aftermath of a deep financial crisis. From the impact on local businesses to the broader political implications, residents believe this crucial vote could shape the nation's recovery. A report.
With days ahead of presidential election in Sri Lanka, residents of the island nation have said the polls will be a key to crisis rebound. Tourists have started returning to Sri Lanka, which business owners like Tariq Naseem say is a good sign for people like him, though he laments that their numbers do not match up to pre-pandemic figures. Naseem's Dairy King, which sells 22 flavors of homemade ice cream, was just one of thousands of businesses crushed by the crisis that erupted after foreign exchange fell to critical lows, squeezing imports of essentials from fuel to fertilizer. With the economic crisis, we have not picked up any more, he added.
The economic crisis, we have not picked up anymore because the cost factor has gone 3 times more. And since then, still we have not increased our cost of the product, selling price. We are just holding at it, expecting with some kind of price reduction. I mean, the states will come for the milk products and the electricity. So we are trying to cover our cost and profit on that.
Sri Lanka's economic crisis erupted after the island's dollar reserves depleted, leaving it unable to buy essentials including fuel, fertilizer and machines. Protests forced former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee the country and later resign. Following this, incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe took over the reins and charted a tentative recovery underpinned by a $2.9 billion IMF program and a $25 billion foreign debt restructuring, bringing about single-digit inflation and interest rates. But the relative stability may be put to the test when 17 million Sri Lankans head to the polls on September 21 to elect a president for the next 5 years.
Business වලතින් අඩියම වෙලාතින් හරි අමාරුයි ගොඩ ගන්න. මේ ගෙඩියක් වික්කට පස්සේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා රුපියල් 8ක් තිබුණා දැන් තියෙන 4යි. දැන් ගෙඩියක් 100යි මිනිස්සුන්ට ඇපල් තියා පැපල්වත් කන්න බෑ.
Voters are likely to pick a winner from winnowed down list that comprises Wickremesinghe, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and Marxist-leaning parliamentarian Anura Kumara Dissanayake. Presidential hopefuls are facing the first political litmus test since the financial crisis, with analysts struggling to pick a front-runner.
Moving on, a team of US delegates on Sunday met Bangladesh interim chief head Mohammad Yunus and assured him of expanding economic and political ties to create a more equitable and inclusive future for the people in the South Asian country. The delegation said that the United States is willing to provide an additional $202 million of aid and is committed to support inclusive economic growth in Bangladesh. Chief Advisor Yunus said the government was appealing for $5 billion in aid to help stabilize an economy that has been struggling since the Ukraine war sharply increased the cost of fuel and food imports. Bangladesh last year sought a $4.7 billion IMF bailout. The US was one of the first countries to welcome installation of Yunus, and this is the first delegation from Washington to visit Bangladesh following the formation of the interim government on August 8. Hundreds of pre-pubescent girls in Nepal donned regalia-alike the living goddess Kumari took part in rituals to please Goddess Taleju Bhawani and seek her blessings on Monday. Take a look.
Donned in regalia like the living goddess Kumari, more than 500 girls from the Newar community in Nepal, in their pre-pubescent, performed special rituals on Monday to please and seek the blessings from Goddess Taleju Bhawani to ward off bad luck and diseases. Locally called Kumari Puja, this special ritual is held annually and is performed in front of the Taleju Bhawani temple in Kathmandu. It is believed that girls taking part in this ritual would not have any health problems. Nepal has a unique tradition of worshipping the living goddess, who is appointed in certain interval of time following strict selection process.
कुमारी पूजा चाहिँ यस्तो कि हाम्रो नानीहरुलाई चाहिँ राम्रो होस् भनेर हरेक वर्ष हुन्छ नै अब बच्चाहरुको एकदम दीर्घायुको लागि एकदम राम्रो होस् भन्नको लागि हो अब यो कुमारी पूजा गर्यो भने बच्चाले एकदम धेरै राम्रो हुन्छ बच्चाले एकदम स्वस्थ हुन्छ भनेर
Living goddess Kumari is believed to have come to the earth in the human form and is also regarded as Hindu goddess of protection and strength Durga. The goddess is worshipped with great reverence, and even the Shah kings followed the tradition of receiving tika or sacred vermilion mark and blessings from her.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.